the first thing we would do today is read a book by Eric Carle called The Tiny Seed. You might see some of my house plants in the back. It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? And where are they all going? That would be a where question. And I see that must be the very tiny seed because it's the smallest seed. One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up, up it goes. It flies too high and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. Another seed lands on a tall and icy cold mountain. The ice never melts and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. I wonder why it's moving as slower and not as fast as the others. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. It gets too much water in it. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. You can see it right there. It's just above the water. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It is hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. Finally, the wind stops and the seeds fall gently down on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It is so small that the bird does not see it. So being small kind of saved it right there. Now it is winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. They look just as if they are going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still, and the mouse does not see it. You can see the mouse underneath the ground. He's probably ready for hibernation. Things look a bit different now. Now it is spring. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by. The sun shines. Rain falls. The seeds grow so round that they start to burst open a little. There's our vocabulary word, burst. Remember when something bursts, it swells open until it pops open. Now they are not seeds anymore. They are plants. First, they send roots down into the earth. Then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up toward the sun and the air. There is a new plant that grows much faster than the others. It is a big, fat weed, and it takes all the sunlight and the rain away from one of the small new plants. And that little plant dies. I hear that the big plant, the weed, took all the sun and the rain and the soil. And because that little plant didn't get any of those resources, that sun, the rain, the soil, it died. That tells me that those are the three things that plants need. They need sun, they need soil, and they need rain. The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It will be too late. Hurry! But finally, it starts to grow into a tiny plant. The warm weather also... Uh-oh! I see a big foot. I wonder why their foot is here. The warm weather also brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun in springtime. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along, and oh, he breaks one. Now it can't grow anymore. The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing fast, but its neighbor grows even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7. Let's count those just to make sure. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 or 7? Go ahead and think for a second which one has more and which one has less. If you're watching, you would notice that there seems to be a whole lot more on the taller plant. There's 7, and only 3 on the smaller plant. 7 is more than 3, or 3 is less than 7. Even in our books, we can still learn about math. Oh, look, a bud, and now even a flower. So after the plants start to grow, they first have a little bud, and then the bud will slowly open up with petals, and it'll turn into a flower. That's what's happened here. But what is happening? First, there are footsteps. Then, a shadow looms over them. Then a hand reaches down and breaks off the flower. I wonder what that means. A boy has picked the flower to give to a friend. That was very compassionate for the boy, and I'm sure that made the girl feel very happy, but I wonder how the plant would have felt. It is summer. Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on and on. It doesn't stop. The sun shines on it and the rain waters it. It has many leaves. It grows taller and taller. It is taller than the people. It is taller than the trees. It is taller than even the houses. And now a flower grows on it. People come from far and near to look at this flower. It is the tallest flower they have ever seen. It is a giant flower. Have you ever seen a flower that was taller than the houses? I haven't, and I love plants. I know a lot about plants. I've never seen a flower this big. All summer long, the birds and the bees and butterflies come visiting. They have never seen such a big and beautiful flower. And now that I look at the illustration, I see a lot of similarities or things that are the same between the flower and the sun. Both are made of circles with things coming straight out. For the sun, it's straight lines or sun rays. And for the flower, these are petals or the colorful parts of the plant. Now it is autumn again. The days grow shorter, the nights grow cooler, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. The wind blows harder. The flower has lost almost all of its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind. But the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more, the wind shakes the flower, and this time, the flower's seed pods open. Out come many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away in the wind. So as the wind was shaking the flower pod with all the seeds in it pops open, and the wind starts to carry the rest of the seeds far away. That sounds like at the beginning of the book when this plant used to be the tiny seed being carried away in the wind. The end. So I hope you enjoyed our story, The Tiny Seed, especially because right now we're going to start planting our own seeds. Now, I'm sorry we can't be here together, but if you guys watch this video and you go to our class dojo and you mention the word greenhouse and you message me your address, I'll send you a packet of soil, a little pellet in the mail, along with your choice of green bean seeds or sunflower seeds. So just on our dojo, message the word greenhouse to me, tell me your address, and if you would like green beans or sunflowers. What I'll do is I'll send one of these soil pellets to you. You can plant your own seeds to follow along with our story and our plant unit. While we're actually getting ready and you guys are thinking if you want green beans or sunflowers, I'm going to show you how we use our pellets. So every plant, as mentioned in our book, The Tiny Seed, needs 3 things. Soil, or the dirt that plants are grown in, water, and sunlight. If you look in my window, we have plenty of sunlight. You can put your plants outside. You can put them on a windowsill. You can even put them under a special grow light if you have one. After you plant your seed, You give it nice lots of water and you let it sit out in the warmth, the seed will slowly start to take in all that water and it will burst open and a new plant will grow out of those seeds. A few days ago after school closed, I grew my own seeds for my house and I wanted to show you a couple of them that they just burst open. So I have one of those pellets and here I have some seeds. I think these are kind of succulent. I bought the seeds a while ago and I wanted to start some growing stuff just in case we were going to be home for a while. I grew 3 kinds of seeds. 2 have already started sprouting. So what you're looking at are the baby seeds and they have popped open and they're growing up looking for the sun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use one of these seed pellets. So you don't have to do anything. All I'm going to do is put in a clear cup so that you guys can see what's going on. So I put it here, and what I'm going to do is pour some water on it. And slowly, the water is going to be sucked into this very dry pack of soil, and it'll slowly start to expand and grow bigger. When that does, we can pick some seeds and put them in the pellet. So I start out with just a little bit of water. And soon it will start to expand. While we're waiting for our water to expand, let's open our bean seeds and see what they look like. So this is the green bean seed. I'll try and make it more clear for us. It's white. It's about the size of half of my thumbnail. It's not too big. It's hard on the outside. I don't know if you can hear that. It is hard and makes a noise when you tap it. Let's look at what a sunflower seed looks like. You might have seen a sunflower seed look like this if you've ever eaten them before. Around the edge is a black shell. Once the water goes into that black shell, the water goes into the seed and the seed soaks up that water. But when it soaks up that water, it also starts to get bigger and it pushes on the sides of the seed. Once it happens, the seed will pop open and the growing seed inside will start to grow a little green sprout that kind of looks like one of these. Plants almost always will grow up to look for the sun because remember, plants need sunlight. So let's take a look at our seed pellet. It's starting to grow up a little bit, starting to absorb some water and expand. Once it does this, we can start to plant our seeds. And it'll look like this. You can take a couple of your seeds. I suggest 2 or 3 in each soil pellet. And we'll start here with a bean seed. What you're going to do is you're going to push it in. Kind of poke it down so you can't see anymore. Cover it up. Give a little spray or a slow drip of water. And then put it somewhere warm. It'd be best if it was outside, but if you have a heater going in your house or you have a nice windowsill to put it on, that'd be the best place to do it. I'm going to go ahead and try and put 2 seeds in each one of my pellets. Just so in case one doesn't grow, the other one will still grow and we'll have a nice healthy plant to work with. So there you go. Always get a nice little sprout. I covered it up just slightly. I didn't put it all the way down in, just a little bit, just enough that it's covered with soil, but it's not fully covered and it won't come out because we still want to get that nice heat and the sunlight from it so that it'll know to grow upwards towards the sky, towards the sun. Oh, you know what I actually do? I was looking at it and I saw a little bit of it, so I'm just going to cover it up. I'll put it back on the tray. And hopefully in a couple days we'll start to see some sprouts of our beans and our sunflowers. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a lot of this tray so that we can watch the different plants grow up the different ways. I'm going to save about half of them for any boys and girls who want me to mail them. They're a soil pellet. Again, it will look like this. It's really small. You got to put it in water and make sure it expands. And then your choice of green beans or sunflowers. Just say the word greenhouse in our class dojo messages and tell me which plant you'd like, and make sure you give me your updated address so I know where to send it to.